Good morning, fellow creators! I am stupid excited this morning because it is finally the day for my first ever in-person art class workshop thing. So I'm setting up stuff to get ready to go. The class starts at 2. It is currently 8:30 in the morning, but I know just the way things are going already this morning, that time is going to fly by like that. So I'm getting as much stuff prepped and in my toolbox here as I can possibly think to need. Oh, that's right. I'm also putting a string on the list of the newsletters and making sure people don't take my pen. I'm sure everyone will have 8 billion pens and pencils, but can never be too sure. And I also don't want to lose one of my good Pilot G2s. This is going on here. So I've got a bunch of extra pencils, my Copic wides. So if you guys didn't see the my practice workshop a couple of weeks ago when I did that recording, I'm actually rewatching it. Rewatching myself right now, so that can all still be more fresh in my head in terms of what I said for that practice run, as well as going forward. I should probably also tape that to that. I do have my outline. I printed it, which is good. I actually didn't change much. Highlighted a couple of things and stuff like that, but mostly what I'm throwing in here is examples and other stuff. I actually want to grab a couple of sketchbooks. A couple of old sketchbooks so people can kind of see the the mini thumbnails and stuff. Oh, business cards too. I need to toss them in for sure. Throw those two in. So yeah, this is just me prepping stuff currently. As much as I'd love to paint this morning, all of my creative energy is getting pumped into this workshop. One thing I did have to do, which I was a little disappointed in myself for having to do, but my birthday was recently, so had birthday money, so it's not as big of a deal. I had to get more paper. You think I have 2 drawers full of paper. Really, I need more paper? I do, at least for this. I didn't have the right size and the right type of paper for what I needed to do. So I ran to Michael's after work yesterday and picked up this giant sketch pad. 30 sheets of regular Strathmore, what is this, 400 series or something? It doesn't actually say. But I was looking for newsprint. Michael's didn't have a big pad of newsprint, which I found to be kind of weird. They had newsprint, but not in this size, which, I mean, you'd think there should be enough, at least like community college people coming through looking for a big pad of newsprint. Nope. Sketch paper is all they have, but that's okay. This is actually funny because it's bigger than my big clipboard that I had intended on essentially attaching a big sketch pad to, but this is too big to actually fit on here. So hopefully it won't be too floppy. And it should be at least hopefully rigid enough, so while I'm demoing stuff, it's not going to flop all around. It still might a little bit, but, you know, what can you do? In addition to that, I've got like 8 billion pencils and some markers. I think I said that already. The other demo stuff, like the marker stuff demos, I haven't done these in a while. These are like a watercolor and then like some ink overlay and stuff. It's just to show like sort of shape movement demonstrations. Like here, like don't think about like it has to look like a rock kind of shape, but just like, yeah, just make it look like whatever, and then find the shapes in there as you go and refine it. So that's what I'm doing this morning. As long as I kind of can with the camera, I'd actually like to take a whole recording of that session, and with any luck, maybe include at least a piece of that in the vlog for this week. Gotta grab my business card stack. Where the hell are those? Over there. Good. Good news is, there was an online registration for this in addition to you can just show up in person or whatever, but I asked the gallery manager, who's sort of in charge of taking care of all the logistics of this, like, hey, did anyone actually bother to sign up online? And it's like, yep, there were 4 signups online. I'm like, hey, that's at least something. I mean, I'd be happy if 2 people showed up, and actually a coworker and her daughter are coming, so I know at least 2 people are showing up. So that was nice to know. Anyway, so yeah, this should be this should be fun. It's weird. Like, I feel like I should be more nervous, but it's like after doing YouTube videos for over a decade, it's like I'm like nothing's. This is just almost routine for me at this point. Like, yep, I know what I'm talking about. I know where we're going with it, and yeah, that's about it. All right, I got to get back to work here. Otherwise, I normally would keep you more informed and filled in here, but I really actually have to focus on making sure I do absolutely have everything I need. So yeah, I'll check back in later. Well, we're up to Sunday afternoon. It is 10 to 1. I'm kind of just trying to, at this point, clean up the studio a little bit more. I had some issues last week with backed up drains and had to hire a plumber. And the studio's kind of been a mess ever since, so I'm trying to clean stuff up. One of the things that I'm trying to clean up is something I made a big decision on late last year. I went through all of my painting inventory, pulled some stuff out of my storage closet. I can't remember if I even talked about this on a vlog or not. But I was like, let me look at the pieces that I'm actually okay with either painting over or getting rid of entirely. And I pulled about 60 pieces out I think. Maybe a few more, maybe like 80. It was a lot. Actually, I'm looking at everything on the floor now. It's not as, it's probably closer to 50, honestly. The thing is, part of it was, I have this big Christmas party every year. There's a vlog I did where I kind of talked about all of my prep and everything for that. But of all my guests that came, I said, here's the deal. Everything in this corner, I am getting rid of or painting over. So if you want something out of this pile, give me like $20 for it and it's yours. And the thing was like basically pay me for the canvas that it's painted on, because right now to me that's all it's worth for. Which was good because a bunch of pieces went, made some nice money at the end of the year. But it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm never going to do something like this ever again. And I would only be comfortable doing it with my friends, because I wouldn't be like post online, here this painting that was $400 is now $20, because that would be ridiculous. And probably really bad for the brand. So it works when it's just like the family and friends discount, more or less. So what I'm left with is a bunch of pieces, some of them going back 10 years, some of them going back 15 years, some of them going back like 2 or 3, and just ones that never, either I was never super confident with, or they were like in between pieces that never got up a lot of attention. So the stuff that's on canvas, I'm either unwrapping, there's a couple I'm going to unwrap, and throw in my scroll storage, just 2 actually, so I can use the stretcher bars again. And anything else I've sort of sanded down the surface and I'll gesso over. There's some things on wood that I took my palm sander and just sanded bare, so now that there's the back of the inventory number, and no painting anymore, it's just gone. Everything else is kind of just wherever I can manage to mess with it. And yeah, but the one thing I do have to do, which is mostly what I'm doing right now, and it's not much to show you in doing, is going through in my inventory list, looking up all of these numbers, and then deleting them out of the inventory list. So the numbers themselves will get reused next time I use the surface. But for today, and going forward, I probably won't even do all of this today. By the way, the workshop went really, really well. Here's some snippets of that in the meantime. But so much of what I do and how I approach things is built around thinking about those things all the time. Just constantly. Line, shape, value.
Line, shape, color, form, value, texture, space. These are the elements of art they help us to create.
I've never heard that as a song. That is fantastic. I love
I
that.
have one for the principles of design too.
I was gonna say, I had those as well. Let's hear them.
Unity, emphasis, contrast, balance, and movement. Rhythm and pattern are similar. Both are repetition. Another good word is proportion. Part 2, whole understanding. You have learned the elements. These ways to use them are principles.
Wow. Talent.
outfit.
I'm guessing you're an art teacher.
What's that?
I'm guessing you're an art teacher.
Yes. But yeah, line, shape, color, form, texture, space.
Texture I always forget about because I tend to lump texture in with value, but I forget that texture can refer to both perceived and actual texture, but that's a whole other thing. But when I'm making my thumbnails in my sketchbook, they're like this big. Now, for the sake of demoing things for you, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of these that are like a little one inch square. That's ridiculous. So I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger. And I will do an entire page of these. For an example, I'll throw a couple of these out. These are what they look like in my own sketchbook. I just brought a couple with me. Granted, in my sketchbook, I do it in 2 layers rather than just one.
So 3 values.
Yeah. Well, so for me, it'd be 3 values in that, but you don't need to do it in 3 values. Ideally, to do it in just one would be to boil all that down into just the base positive and negative space of the whole piece. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this vlog up. I know this wasn't a whole lot this week, but I still would like to maybe try and get this edited and uploaded before the weekend ends. But I do want to show you guys one thing, one little tip for this week, since I know you guys are always looking for art tips and stuff, and it's a pretty dry week when it comes to art tips, with the exception of whatever snippets from the workshop. So I'm gessoing this canvas, or regessoing this canvas, so to speak, now. Now, I don't know how much this will even show up on camera, but I've found this really great little technique over the years for getting wet gesso to feel a little bit more just like a plain textured canvas. Whether you do like just a one big thick layer like I normally do, or you do several, you kind of want it to be not just all the brush strokes all facing the same direction. So I will do that once and just even everything out. But I always ran into the problem of no matter how many layers of gesso I'd put on, I'd end up it would always end up being that there were just brush strokes only going in one direction. So once everything is evened out the same way, I'm not going back for more gesso, I'm not cleaning the brush, but really lightly, just with all the gesso that's still on it, I'll just do vertical strokes. In this case, I did the horizontal ones here. I'll go to vertical ones, but only like every other brush width, or every other half brush width. And I'm just angling the brush down like that, and just very, very lightly, just letting the weight of the brush itself do all the work. I gotta squeeze a little bit of the extra gesso out of there. And just as many times across as until I can see a fairly even distribution of the strokes. So I'm kind of creating a little crisscross pattern. A weave, so to speak, in terms of the texture that's on the canvas. And you could use like a paint roller to get this same texture, but if you're already using a brush to apply the gesso, this is just a much easier way to do it without having to switch to having a roller or something. And yeah, I don't know how much that's really going to show up, but it does create a nice little bit of a pebbly texture across the whole thing. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys this week. Thanks guys for checking this vlog out, short though it was. I don't really have much else to say. New newsletter comes out next week. Other than that, thanks guys for watching, keep on creating, and I'll see you guys next time.